Hi everyone, I'm Lisa from Down to Earth Gardening, and I'm here today with my daughter Hannah and her orchids. So we just filmed a couple other videos. We're talking about garden planning for this year, but next to us, Hannah's orchids were sitting, and I have to tell you that Hannah is the queen of orchids. So she does amazing things with houseplants. She takes in a lot of rescues, but you make it look so easy. And so I thought we would pick Hannah's brain a little bit and ask her how she managed to get these beauties to reflower again, and they just look so healthy. So I thought you could give us some tips and tricks on orchids and orchid care.
Yeah. Well, usually when you get them home and they flower, you have to wait until they're finished flowering.
Yep.
Then you would get yourself a orchid specific potting mix. I usually just go on Amazon.
It's like a bark
It's like a
mulch here,
bark that comes with
which I
like
can
some
see here.
fertilizer inside of it.
So special orchid
Special
mix.
orchid mix. You wait specifically until your orchid is finished flowering.
And so when it's done flowering, do you then cut the flower
You
stems
do, you
back?
cut them all the way. That's what I do. I cut them all the way back and then I will repot my orchid.
So you don't leave them in the containers that they come in.
No,
Okay.
no. And usually they have like, this moss, which is fine, but I specifically like the bark. So I will take the orchid out of the pot and sort of peel away that stuff.
Well, we always say when we plant our outdoor plants, we want to tickle the roots. So you really want to loosen them
You
up.
want to get everything out of there.
And orchids in particular, they kind of like their roots aerated. And you can kind of see that some of them here are growing in air. Okay.
And you'll notice too that sometimes they're like very damp from the store, and they don't like that. They don't like to be
Not sitting in
just
water.
not sitting in water.
Right.
So it's really great to give it a fresh pot, fresh orchid soil. I don't do any fertilizing. I honestly just water it. I wait until it fully dries.
But you're saying that the
Water it.
orchid mix that you use has the fertilizer in
It
it.
has the fertilizer in it.
So maybe if we can find that, we'll put up a link in the description so that everyone can have access to that.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what, as far as like sun watering?
I like to put mine in a really nice sunny spot, that's for sure. So this table is actually where it sits, and this table gets a good amount
Yeah.
of sun.
Yeah, so a kitchen window gets a lot of good
Kitchen
sun.
window.
I would say it gets more afternoon sun.
The bay window I used to have it in, but it's not safe there with the kitties.
So we'll show you what's on the bay window now, because your violet over there, everything there is doing really well, and it's a perfect spot for flowers. However, the kiddos like to stand up on the heater and they can reach things, and this must be like a sensory thing, but they've actually like peeled some of the buds off, and so these got relocated.
Yes.
And I have to tell you, that is one of the things that fascinate me about you with your houseplants, is that like I'll do a lot of like calculating, watching windows, sun, and you just like pick a window or a spot and you put it there and it just does beautifully. And it's just like, oh my gosh, like I spend a lot of time calculating things. But I think the two main points about the location is, well, somewhere safe, but somewhere where you're going to be able to keep an eye on it.
Yes, and
right.
That's also why I like these pots too, because they're clear and you can kind of see the inside of the root system here, which is really nice. I think you can kind of see that. It looks nice and bright green. That's how you want it to look. Because if you're kind of overwatering your orchids, then they get kind of gray.
They change color.
Yeah.
Okay, so this means that they're healthy. I like that. That's a good tip. A clear container so you can see what's going on. So back to the location, a spot where you can kind of keep an eye on them, and they're safe from little hands.
And pets too.
And pets, yep. But also they do need a good amount of sun. Those are just two things. I think intuitively you know that, and so you're moving your plants around and doing that, keeping an eye on them.
Yes.
So what about watering?
I know some people do ice cubes. I just wait until mine are fully dry, and that's another reason why I like the clear containers, because you can see if it looks dry or if it looks wet. So I wait until it's totally dry, and then I just go ahead and give it a nice water. That's really it.
That's it.
Just with a watering can. That's it.
So a nice water. So
Yeah, I'd say like just, so you can see a little bit in the bottom. You don't want to
okay.
overdo it, but just like how you'd water any other plant, I think.
So like once a week, or what do you
I think
say?
I do it less than once a week, maybe like once every 2 weeks, probably. I like to let it really dry out before I give it a nice water.
So 10 to 14 days. And
Yeah.
that probably also depends on whether like you have your heat on in the house and stuff too. You have to keep an eye on it.
Yes.
So it's funny, right before the video, we were talking about this and I asked you if you'd be willing to share some orchid tips. You had said that you were concerned having this one in the video because the leaves didn't look great. But we need to talk about things that work, things that don't work, because this is very common, right? And I think people need to know, like, do you worry about this, or what do you do with something like that?
I think, well, this is sitting on the counter where I'm always cleaning. So I think that's why this happened. But I think what will eventually happen is the leaf will just slowly die off. And then at that point, when it can practically just come off, that's when I'll take it off. I just leave it.
Just leave it alone.
I just leave it alone.
Not concerned about it. Let it run its course.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What about this over here? So it's got a little. I'm guessing I might know what happened to this, but I'm not sure.
Some little ones.
Some little ones.
Some little ones. I honestly will just leave that and not worry about it.
So the same thing will happen.
Same thing. I mean.
Okay. Yep.
No big deal. Doesn't look as pretty, but that's okay.
That's fine. I mean, look at this. This is pretty fabulous. I don't know if you remember, we had a client. This is when I first started gardening, and she was a regular. And I'd walk in to chat with her about our gardens, and her big kitchen window, it was giant. You probably know what I'm talking about. Had orchids flowering all the time. And I said, can I ask you, how you care for your orchids? Because they're always so beautiful. And she said, oh, lovey, I just buy new ones when they die. Which is, I mean, that's fine. But I love buying something as, an investment, or you get it for a gift and it's special, and then just keeping it for years to come. And you always do so well with these and really enjoy them.
A lot of people struggle with orchids, though. They say easy care, and I think
they're a little more difficult.
They are, yes.
So you can tell these are two different varieties because this is more of a burgundy stem. But we'll keep you posted with some beautiful flowers. And is there last thing I wanted to ask is, when they are flowering, do you do anything different? Any special care while they're flowering?
No, I don't do anything different. I think I just kind of leave it. I don't fertilize it. Yep. I don't cut anything off. I just leave it and water it as normal.
Okay. And so will you repot these anytime soon, or how do you know when it's time to repot these? I know they sell orchid pots too, but you prefer the clear.
I like the clear ones. I probably would just leave these, but they could be repotted. As you can see, all the roots are coming out.
Okay, so this is okay, but they could be potted up.
They could be repotted after they're done flowering, though.
So I know you rush around with the little ones, but maybe we could meet up again and do a video on repotting orchids. I think that would be really great for everyone to see.
Absolutely.
All right, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed our video. I did. This is always really helpful for me, a good refresher, because Hannah is so much better at houseplants than I am. I love my houseplants, especially in the winter, but in the summer they take a lot of neglect because I am outside the minute I can get back out there. So thank you so much for joining me. I love doing these videos for you, and we love doing the gardening thing together. If you like this video, please go ahead and tap like and hit subscribe to our channel, because we have lots more gardening topics coming your way.